right, so Shalom, family. How's everyone doing? Okay, so welcome to another Sound Sabbath class. Okay, Sound Sabbath class. And for this one, the lesson is how can I build with no tools? Okay, how can I build with no tools? You need tools, okay? Because a big part, let's get 2 Timothy 2 and 15. That's why you see all these books around me. We're going to get into some of these tools, okay? To help you further your knowledge. Let's get 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 15. We can get 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 15. So, look at 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 15. It says, study to show thyself approved unto God. So you're studying to prove yourself unto the Most High, okay? Regardless if you're just, a proselyte, you're new into this, or you've been in this for a little bit, or, you're a congregate of some, congregation, or if you're a leader, if you're, need to be apostle, deacon, bishop, or, captain, what so have you, no matter where you are, you're studying to show yourself approved unto the Most High, okay? It says, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed. So, no shame in trying to learn more of your history and getting tools to help you be better and do better with understanding the word of the Most High, okay? And rightly dividing the word of truth. So, this lesson in this segment is going to be very much so different. It's more so going to be a show and tell, us showing, more so the tool that you can utilize to help with your studies and help with your growth. So, and there's still, you can't see the, full expansion table. The table's filled with a variety of books on the table, okay? I couldn't even tell you how many. I haven't counted. But nevertheless, the first tool you want to get is a Holy Bible, okay? A Holy Bible, that's one of the first things you guys want to actually have in your arsenal, okay? It's the beginning of your studies. So that I can set to the side. And, if you want, you can actually, as I set the books aside, you can actually take them and, put them off to the side or put them in one of the chairs. Um, so, and then this one is a apocrypha, okay? And this has a lot of the books that were originally in your Bible but were later taken out by your Protestants who protested certain aspects of the Catholic faith they didn't believe in or side with. Okay, your Christians took some of these books out. Your Catholic Bible has many of them, but your older Bibles actually contain these books. Okay, so the Apocrypha. And now you can get a Bible that does actually have both. That does actually have these things, and like this one. So this one you actually have both, but even though I'm showing you this one and I have it, the 1611 edition King James Version, this one I do not recommend. Why? If it's something you're just looking to have just in your library just to have, cool, all praises. But this one is actually written in the Old English. So it's actually written in the Old English, and that can be difficult, or challenging if you're not used to seeing that on a regular. Then it could be more difficult to have to, okay, now let me find some of these books that the spelling is a little different because it's written in the Old English. So I don't necessarily recommend that you utilize this one for your regular studies, or if you're doing the work of evangelists, hitting the streets or street teaching, many we say. I don't really recommend that this is your go-to, okay? But it is a very inexpensive option. So, and then instead, the better thing that I recommend is for you, just as I have, which you usually see me teach, I have the combination. Both of it is here, but it's the preferred version. And to actually show you exactly what that looks like, this, so this is what you're looking at. So, and this is the King James Version Cameo Reference Edition with Apocrypha, okay? Black calfskin leather. So this is the one that I recommend that you have in your arsenal, and I definitely highly, if you're a current leader or you're looking to be a leader, if you're looking, in direction of being a a bishop, apostle, captain in those regards. And I definitely highly recommend that you have, one of these as well. So in your arsenal, because it can dispel people who may not be familiar, with the apocrypha or things that nature. They don't know the history. It can help them, with being in a situation where they understand it was one. Then you just explain to some people what that little red apocrypha thingy. It seems foreign, to them. So, and this is all everything that I'm showing right now is just all the basics. So if you're coming in, you're new, you don't have these are all the things that you want to, work to obtain. Okay, this is like level 1 starter pack. So coming into the faith and what tools you really want to have in your arsenal. This is a large print Bible. Okay, this is an alternative. So this is for those who maybe your eyesight isn't as good. Would need you to be older or younger. Or if you're trying to show multiple people particular things, you might be sitting down doing more personalized Bible study. This can definitely be good for that. This could be a good help. So this is definitely one that I can recommend and put here. Thank you, appreciate it. So that's one I recommend. So as an alternative, another one for my Spanish readers. So this is another one I recommend. So it's Santa Biblia. So RVG, which stands for Reina Valera Gomez. Okay, Holy Bible KJV. Okay, as you see, and there's a lot of history with this Bible and with these individuals. Okay, and how they labored to make sure that this is a work that we would have today. So, and one of the beautiful things about this that I love and that you can love, and may very well help you with your ministry. Okay, and is that it actually has the English and Spanish side by side. So it has the English and Spanish side by side. Ooh, excuse me. So if you're in a space where you're looking to, teach in both English and Spanish, it gives you the ability to do that. You can have 2 in 1, and that can work out very well for you. So you can have 2 in 1 like that. So that's a good resource. So definitely one I highly recommend if if you are a Spanish speaker, or if you're dealing with a community where there are a lot of Spanish speakers. That's a great Bible, to get. And many things you get them like you can get many of them from Amazon.com. Actually, you go to our website www.soundfaithministries.org. We actually have links to many of these books, not all these books. Many of these books I still have to put on there, but we do have a book list on there. If you click the menu icon or resources, the resources tab, we do have a book list, and it has a lot of these books and a brief explanation I put in there so you can know some of the benefits of them. Okay. From here, let's get another book. So this is actually the Strong's Exhaustive Concordance of the Bible. So try to make sure that so you guys can see good, or if not, you can probably zoom in a little bit on it if and when needed, so that they can see good if the image isn't clear. And so with this, like it says on here at the bottom, an indispensable resource for better Bible study. Highly agree. It's by James Strong. Easy to read, extra clear typeface. Find every occurrence of any word in the King James Version Bible. That's a big thing. So sometimes you ever get them points where it's like, man, I know this word, and you be looking for a scripture, you can't find it, but it's like, man, I know it says something begotten. Man, it was like begotten something. Well, you can open this up, and you can actually look in and see, dang, where is begotten? So I just brought up a random word. Let me see, even shoot, I can find begotten in here. If not, I'll just go with something else, but we'll see if I can find it. I'm going through it, and here we're getting close. So now let's just say I'm doing here. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. Okay, we're getting close. So we're at behold. And here we go. Begotten. So here it is, just an example. So so just for you to be able to see that you can see every instance in terms of when that word is mentioned in the scriptures, and you can be able to find it, okay? And it'll have a number and a letter in front. The letter H is for Hebrew, and the letter G is for Greek, okay? The definition in the Hebrew, definition in the Greek. So understanding, because sometimes, this is also important too. And like I said, that's where to find the word, but if you keep going, you have the dictionary. So in the back, and it'll give you the Hebrew and the Greek definition, because we look up words. Here we go. It has an appendix too. So let me get. That's not what I want. I don't want the appendix. So sorry, bear with me real quick. Okay, here we go. We have the Dictionary of Hebrew and Aramaic Words. So with this, the Dictionary of Hebrew and Aramaic Words, what it allows you to do is, so here we have it good. So what it allows you to do is to be able to find, have a particular word, and it will give you the definition of it. So why is this important? We may use a thesaurus or a particular dictionary, but what this allows you to do is to really be able to lock in and get what the Hebrew version of that was. So we might think of something, such we might hear a certain term in the scriptures, and it might say something like unicorn, and we think, okay, a horse with a horn, and you might look in here and it says, oh, that's a rhinoceros. Okay, that's what they meant when they say unicorn, something like that. Or you might see, okay, well, scripture said beetle, but by beetle, they meant cricket. We see locust, and then we see beetle, and we think, okay, beetle like a dung beetle or ladybug, and it might be something like cricket, something of that nature. Okay, so this allows you to look up words in the Hebrew and in the Greek. It'll give you a number that, corresponds to it, and you can, look it up. Each of these words, even like we were looking with the dictionary, and we look up prepare, that's going to give you a word, H3559, and sometimes the Hebrew word may be the same. It may be the same for prepare, or there might be a different version of it. So it's like, okay, you mean prepare in this context or prepare in this context? And the Hebrew word can be different based on the context, okay? So it give you H3559. Look up prepare. Let me get H3559. Okay, H35, and then I get 5-9. I was already close. All prayer must be in the spirit. And it's kun or kun, a primitive root, probably be erect, that is stand perpendicular, hence causatively to set up in a great variety of applications, whether literally establish, fix, prepare, apply, or figuratively appoint, render, sure, proper, or prosperous, certain, certainty, confirm, direct, faithfulness, fashion, fasten, firm, be fitted, be fixed, frame, be meet, ordain, order, perfect, preparation, make preparation, prepare self, provide, make provision, ready, be ready, okay? And some may even have another root. So it's like that's the word, but it has a root in another word, So this actually helps you find that. So this is just a little bit with the Strong Concordance, but this is definitely something I highly, highly recommend that you have. A lot of these books, I'm showing these books, because I've been in this walk for 13 years. A lot of these books, they're old. A lot of these books I've had for 10 years. 11 years, 12 years. Other books I've had 9 years. I don't even think any book I have is any younger than 7 years. 7 years old, if not 8. A lot of books I just had. So some are beat up, and some my kids, even shoot, my older daughters, and when they was babies, was messing with. So I know a lot of these books is old back when they was 2 and and 3, and chewing on them and pull them off the bookshelves and ripping pages out. Yeah, I'm talking about y'all. So yeah, they was doing all that. So now they watch their brothers do it. So protect my books. So here's another one: the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. Okay, so this is another one: the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary that you want to have. And what this does, it's similar. It's not exactly the same. There is a benefit to having both. The Strong Concordance in this, in terms of defining a lot of words and defining a lot of places. So it lets you know a lot of those details too when you define things. So it's definitely a tool, man, that you want to have in your arsenal. You don't want to go without this. So it's definitely a number one, in terms of with the rest of these in your bag of the basic tools that you want to have. Now, this is an honorable mention. This is a dictionary, but this is one of those. I'm not saying it's one that you have to get. It's an honorable mention. It's called Little Book of Where to Find It in the Bible, the ultimate A to Z resource, fully illustrated, hundreds of contemporary topics by Ken Anderson. Okay, so and that is just that. It's just something is mentioned or you're thinking about something. Maybe I'm trying to find things about environment or finance, genetics, shopping, jewelry, marriage, mortgages, stress, taxes, voting, uh, whatever it is. It's just a place to find it. Hey, it's mentioned somewhere in the Bible. Even if it's not what we think of like that literal term, it's here though. In some shape, form, or fashion. So it's just an honorable mention. Okay. By no means am I saying you have to get this, but it's inexpensive. I only paid $6 for it. But you have that. Now these next couple are important. These next couple are important things that you want to get, especially if you're serious about. If you're more serious, so it's mandatory. If you're looking to be a bishop, apostle, these are things you want to make sure you have in your arsenal. So if you don't have, got those things, you don't have the money to stretch that far, it's okay. But these are the next things that you want to get. Like, it's important for anyone that's trying to take their studies more serious. Need you be a congregant, or proselyte, you just new in this. These are things you want to get. So the first is the IVP Concise Atlas of Bible History by Paul Lawrence. Okay, this one you definitely want to get. So this is a real good one. And there's a lot of, not only does it show, and like it says, it is pretty concise, but it actually has more than just, we think of just regular atlas. It has a lot of history in here as well. So not only shows you a lot of places, but it actually gives you a lot of history just throughout various things that you can use to substantiate, like even one of these things here, like people dealing with proof and things of Christ. One of the things like the James ossuary that's in here, substantiating that he was real, or things of that nature. That's one of the things you can learn more of. And there's a lot of archaeological research. You're trying to look at archaeology and trying to get a lot of things to substantiate the Israelites are real or existed, or things of that nature. Christ really existed, or what so have you, some proof. There's a lot of archaeology and timelines and maps in here that can be of great use, to you. So I definitely, this is a good buy. Shoot, I got it like $12. So I don't know what the price of it is, now. Now, here's another one. Okay, here's another one that, again, it's not really a this or that. It's really like, man, if you get both, get both. But they both kind of serve two different purposes. You're more so trying to get more of the history aspect. That's really a good one. If you're trying to get, man, I really need to see, because I'll be reading. They journey from Sumer to Mesopotamia or to Babylon to Cush, whatsoever, and I'll be getting confused on what the places be, and it kind of gets you disconnected too, because when I can't really identify the place or get a good visual, I can kind of be listening. Man, they went from one land I don't know about to another land I don't know about or never really heard of. So, and I can't even think where that is today. This is going to be a good resource. The Rose Thin and Now Bible Map Atlas with biblical backgrounds and culture. And it's by Paul H. Wright, PhD. It's by Rose Publishings. Okay, Rose Publishings, but Paul H. Wright, PhD is the one who wrote it and put it together. So this is what it looks like. And there's different versions. You get the Rose Thin and Now Deluxe version, but like I said, this is the Thin and Now. This is the one that you want. So this is the one that you want. And why this one? Because other ones, they just give you the straight to the point, the concise. They don't give you as much of the history. They just give you more of the direct maps. I like this one because you get maps and history. Okay, so this is try to get the better version. Try to get the thicker one. The hardcover one, like I was showing, it looks like this. You might get like that blue one, that blue looking one. It's not going to be as expansive as this one. It's like the expanded version, and it still has a lot of history and things of that nature. So now let's get some of these other things. Let me show you a reason why I love it, and you'll probably love it too. So with it, let's say you're looking at a map of the Middle East, and you're looking at like I said, some of the kinds of the biblical stories, and you're trying to understand some of the context of. I'm trying to see whose biblical story is dealing with here. Usually it shows it, but let's just say you're trying to get some of that history there, and you're trying to better understand because you may not know where some of these places are. So I'm trying to make sure I have it. It may not be as relevant to you if you hear Babylonia or Sumer or things of that nature, but it has an overlay, a transparent overlay that now, if you see it, okay, now you see it with the transparent overlay, and now it's a situation where if you look at it, oh, I know where, now I know, okay, when we're dealing with Babylon or Babylonia, okay, we're dealing with Iraq, okay, we're dealing with that area, okay. Now it can make a little more sense to me. When we're dealing with media, okay, we're dealing with Iran, we're dealing with over there, so we can get more of those places and see more of that information. Okay, so it makes it, they say, make it make sense. This is how you make it make sense for you, so it can be that much more relevant, to you and help you with your studies as you're trying to look and explore places. You can use this as you read and say, oh, he journeyed from here to there, and I understand more in terms of where he went. So this is one definitely a great tool to have that, like I said, with biblical background and culture, with clear plastic overlays of modern day cities and countries. So, and you can also get the digital version too. So you get the digital version, it comes with a disc. So I got it with it. It comes with a disc, and there's other versions that come with a disc. You could download those maps as well. So those maps you can definitely download and have. So now that takes care of a big part of your basics. So now we're going to take things to the next level. Okay, so the next level with some tools to have. So to further your understanding. So this is where, that's pretty much everything. That if you're just someone, whether you're a proselyte new coming into the faith, or if you're someone who have been in for like a year, 2 years, 3 years, and or if you're someone who, hey, I'm just trying to make sure I have a good foundation with, basic resources, cool. But now if you're trying to take things up to the next level and like, man, I'm trying to really seriously become more learned in the scriptures, then you want to get some of these books. So this one is from Babylon to Timbuktu, a history of ancient black races, including the Black Hebrews. So by Rudolph R. Windsor. Okay, so it's one of those books that you want to make sure you have in your arsenal if you're trying to take things up to the next level. definitely has it's a good. A lot of these books I've read in totality, so including the Bible. I read the Bible in totality. But you know, there's still always more things to grasp out of it, even if you do read it cover to cover. So you do want to make sure that this is one of those books cover to cover is pretty good. Okay, not every book cover to cover is good. Some of them may gotta you reading the whole book just to get a sentence out of it, or something that's good. So other ones it might just have a good chapter or a couple good chapters, but this is one the whole book is pretty good. So you know. Another one is Josephus, the complete works of Flavius Josephus. Okay, so it's the one that you want to get. This is one version of it. So you want to get the complete works of Flavius Josephus. So it's one of those ones you want to get. So, and sometimes you might also see them like this. So I prefer hardbacks with my books generally preferred. So hard copies, but I have both. Both are in my collection. But you want to get you want to get the complete works. Only get complete works, you're good. So, but Josephus, reason why Josephus is good. Josephus, he was an Israelite. He was a Jew, and in short, he was one that was alive during the siege of 70 AD. He writes a lot of those things during the siege of Jerusalem in the time of the Romans, and he actually was someone who actually he tried to warn our people not to rebel against the Romans. It's not smart. It's not wise. Don't do it. And our people didn't listen to him, rebelled anyways, and he just writes about all the atrocities and things that happened. He writes a lot from what he knows, what he knew at that time, a lot of the history that was passed down that we don't have, but he was able to have and closer to the source in terms of, hey, this is what happened during these times. This is what happened during a lot of the time of the Greeks. He writes about a lot of times of what happened. He doesn't try to really embellish or put a spin on things, but tries to give an understanding of a lot of the scriptural things, and tries to really parallel with a lot of the stories and give a lot of writings. So and even those other writings that he's helped preserve too. Even he's helped preserve a lot of the writings of even Manetho. So many within the Egyptologist community are more familiar with. So who wrote less of a chronology and more of a historiosity. History of Egypt. So yes, a lot of those things in here as well. This is a good book. It's a long book to read, but it does give a lot of history, a lot of history of the scriptures and various things that have happened. So it's definitely one that you want to definitely read, and get a lot of the history and things that happened to our people, especially during the time of the Romans. But he writes, of other histories too, and gives insight and information on those things as well. So that's a big part of things that you want to get. That many people, they watch, they'll agree with many of those books. Those are all great books to get. Now with these things, this is where if you're that much more dedicated, like, hey, you're really looking on the lines. I'm really nah. I need some more. I need to really get deeper into the word. I need to further my studies. And this is now going to take, all right, well, if you're trying to really know more and get more into these things, then these are all books that can help you know more and get deeper, into history and things of that nature. So with these things, I'm gonna put it from, I have different stacks set up because some of these things are based on different times of history. You're trying to get more so, people deal with post slave trade, post chattel slavery, or even things that were kind of dealing with some of those times. These are some of those books in this stack that you can look at. Okay. So one of which is The Souls of Black Folk by W.E.B. Du Bois. Okay, Souls of Black Folk. It's a decent read, but out of this stack is the least. So it's the least. Another one is The Miseducation of the Negro. So the miseducation of the Negro. So, like I said, it was originally published in 1933 by Dr. Carter G. Woodson. Okay, um, so this is a pretty solid read. It's one I would get. So again, if you have the money, that one's pretty good to get. Another one that's good to get is The New Jim Crow. Okay, The New Jim Crow. This is another good one, to really get. So I know. There we go. Bam. Highlights. Yeah. The New Jim Crow. So the New Jim Crow is pretty good. Uh, because Jim Crow was a series of it's it it is a series of laws. It helps you understand more so a lot of the systemic racism, okay, that our people dealt with. The new Jim Crow, it lets you know a lot of the systemic racism and things that nature that's done against, many of the Israelites in the Americas, okay. So it's a good read, it's a good read. Another good read is Nature Knows No Color Lines. It's a pretty good read too. So this is definitely a good read. So um, dealing a lot with the color problem. So, but it's yeah, and it's by J.A. Rogers. J.A. Rogers, writes some good books. J.A. Rogers. So, but like I said, if yeah, I would go with those. Those are some good reads if you're trying to, understand more. But like I said, that's more so, if you're trying to understand more of like the early 1900s and a lot of times how these things are affecting us now to this day, that's a good read too. Um, and also, I think it's in my room, but the Willie Lynch letter, yeah. Um, I think I left that one in my room. So now, if you're really, really trying to get more in terms of your Northern Kingdom history, so which the big thing I like to get into, even before I fully understood, but it's I get more books on that, or I've had more books on that, but find out both of my parents are native, um, Seminole and Seminole Indian, Blackfoot, so this is what I try to more so understand more of that history. So few of the books I'm gonna recommend. These are all books like, man, they're pretty good. Uh, One book that is a good read is Christopher Columbus and the African Holocaust: Slavery and the Rise of European Capitalism by John Henrik Clark. Okay, so thank you. So this is a good read right here. So definitely a good read. So make sure you guys can get a good look at that. So and it's definitely one that yeah, it's worth reading the whole thing of. Give you some insight. Now, with more so the Southern Kingdom of Israel, the Willie Lynch letter and the making of a slave is a good one that you want to read. If you've never read it, it's definitely a good one to read. Um, it entails of a lot of and some people even attest to whether or not Willie Lynch himself actually lived and walked the earth. Some say he didn't, but nevertheless, this letter is true. The words written are things that were used against us, and enslaved us. So you know, so now let's get, man. This is a man, probably my number one if you're really trying to learn more. Because some people say uh, Native Americans and indigenous people in America and things that they don't fit the cursive descriptions of things of that nature. But it's one of those things to where these books really let you know. So Christopher Columbus, the African Holocaust, really lets you know as a book to read to dispel, some of those things. Um, that the Northern King doesn't fit the curse. That's a book that helps dispel a lot of that. Uh, Another book, Black Indians: A Hidden Heritage, by William Lauren Katz, is another book that deals with a lot of the relations between natives and blacks. That even them, and because some people read history that a lot of Native Americans had a lot of what this. I'm gonna get back to that. That's why I said it right there. I didn't put it over there. So, so this is a book that a lot of people have and they read. And like I said, he let me know. Come back to Devastation of the Indies. I'm gonna come back to that one. So, but this is a good book to read because a lot of people may say Native Americans had blacks in slavery, which even that's my family's history as well. That I don't really want to talk about as much because just that general negative stigma, but not knowing that like for most of those situations of what's known and reported that those things weren't chattel slavery in the way that we think of chattel slavery. It was actually done out of agreements of communication because for Esau, he believed in ownership, that if that's your property, he deals with it differently versus, who does this belong to? So they would actually help a lot of those that were enslaved or runaways to, say, hey, it's better you come under our roof and you be one of us. And, for him dealing with it, that, yeah, you actually, are a slave, so to speak, but we don't deal with you like that. That's not how we deal with you. And they actually got along quite well and had, great bonds, with that as well. So it's definitely a great book to read to get a lot of that history, and like I said, because there's a lot of history there, a lot of history there that you can actually read and, understand, even as I understand my own, family's history, but through my elders and the family and things of that nature, and our family, was. So you have Bartolomeo de las Casas, the book I mentioned earlier, The Devastation of the Indies, a brief account of the Devastation of the Indies by Bartolomeo de las Casas. So, and this is definitely one, man, that you definitely want to have because it deals with a lot of the atrocities that were done, throughout the Americas. So, a lot of the atrocities that were done, throughout the Americas to our people. And, it's like, man, it's heavy. It's heavy. It's a must read cover to cover, and it's like, man, even John Henrik Clark in his book. Some of these people they quote each other's books, or they quote the next person's book. And John Henrik Clark, he actually makes mention of the devastation of the Indies in his book. So, and he lets you know that, man, slavery didn't start with what he says in there, enslaved Africans. It started with your Native Americans. That's who it really started with. So, and it's one of those things. It's a great book if you want to read about all the atrocities and things that happened to us, as a people. So, and that's, yeah, cover to cover. Another book, Lost Tribes and Promised Lands: The Origins of American Racism by Ronald Sanders. So this is a good book where it has some good jewels. You read it cover to cover, but it's not going to have like as much 100% I can rock with it, but it's gonna have some jewels in there. It's gonna have some jewels in there that you're gonna use. Lost Tribes and Promised Land is gonna have some jewels, but it's not something where cover to cover it's like, man, another good, another great, another great, another great, another great. It's not that type of book. So it's where you'll get a couple of jewels out of it. So type read, okay? So, but you're getting it so that you can, have it to substantiate those things, or you might have someone take, some good pictures, upload it, things of that nature. And these are all books you'll see me later on as I, go into various topics and histories. I'll bring out certain excerpts and things, but it's nothing like reading all the good stuff because I can't bring out every single good thing that's contained within the books, because then we could be here a while. Especially like, man, that's good. Man, that's good. Man, that's good. Another one is They Came Before Columbus, The African Presence in Ancient America by Ivan Van Sertima. This is another good read. So this is another good read. So, and this has again, this has a lot of jewels in it. And it's one of those books you can read it cover to cover, but it's not going to be in a situation where a lot of these things, even though if you read it cover to cover, it's not like, dang, it's just everything 100% is just great, 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 great. It's going to have its high and low moments, okay? So best believe, like I said, these are two books that came before Columbus and Lost Tribes and Promised Lands that they're going to have their jewels, but it's not a cover to cover greatness. Everything, is great. I can utilize. So now I get my next stack. So, and that was dealing with, with a lot of our people here, like in the Americas, and a lot of that, learning. My last stack was just 10 tribe. So now we'll get another stack of some things. This is like a mix. Excuse me. It's like a mix. Man, some of these is difficult to see which one. Okay, the best one hands down, The 13th Tribe by Arthur Kessler. I don't even have the original cover on it. It's hard cover, but there was a case on it. Thank my kids for losing it. So, The 13th Tribe by Arthur Kessler. So, and you're going to see different ways in which it looks on the outside, but generally, like I said, the 13th Tribe, the Khazar Empire and its heritage, just really shows how the Khazars, those that call themselves Israelites or Jews or things of that nature today, this is one of the books. There's another book, The Invention of the Jewish People by Shlomo Sands, that tells a lot of that history as well. And there's another book too. I can't remember. Oh man, another one of my books is missing. Oh man, I actually had it. The Nazis, World War II. There's another book that I have that I can't find. Now I think about the Nazis, World War II. That's another book, that I can't find. There's a few books that that I have. I gotta bring that up too. That in mind, the Nazis, World War II is another book. So the 13th Tribe by Arthur Kessler. If you're really trying to get a history to understanding of those who call themselves Jews and that they're not Jews, the 13th Tribe by Arthur Kessler is one. The Invention of the Jewish People by Shlomo Sands, and the Nazis, World War II by Time Life Books. So, dang, I got to see where that book went. Man, hopefully I got it somewhere. If not, may have to purchase it again. So, but that's a good book. So, and those are all books, like I said, those three ones really showing that, yeah, by you could put it up there. So I'll show you guys the visual in a minute. And actually, let's show those two real quick. Let's show those two so you can see that these two. So let me pause for a moment too, because I actually did miss a book I did want to show you. So let's see this book. So this first book is The Truth Behind Truth, Volume 1, John 8:32, and you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Okay, by Cedric Ball. This is a good book that if you're coming in and you need to get grounded and rooted, and you just want to read a book, you want precepts there that help you get grounded and rooted, this is definitely a book you want to read to help establish a good foundation in this walk. Or definitely something to send to someone if they don't have as much access to live videos like this, or being able to have certain resources. This is a good one as far to help them better study and learn the scriptures and earlier doctrine, understand who they are according to scriptures and why it matters. Okay, who they are and why it matters. So that's a good book. May you get the other book that's in there. Um, yeah. So the next one is classical biblical baby names, timeless names for modern parents. This one has a few good jewels in it. It's not necessarily good to read cover to cover, but it does have some good jewels in it. Okay, like things concerning Esau, the forefather of the Caucasian race, people we know as Caucasian. That's another good one to go to. Okay, you can put it back on the classroom for me, please. Thank you. So, because she's gonna also get a few of the other books, for me that are pretty good. Uh, Back in, okay. So now, let's get a few of these. So, man, these are all pretty good. Okay, one of my favorites that this book, 100 Amazing Facts About the Negro with Complete Proof. This is one of those books like, man, it has a gang of good jewels. And one thing I like, it's a small book. You see, it's small, but it has a lot of jewels in it, man. Like it says, a shortcut to the world history of the Negro. And it's just that. It literally goes like source by source. It gives you the facts, and then at the end, it gives you all of the sources where they get all those facts at. So when people say like Beethoven was a black man, that you may not know that he was a brother. You know, the proof is in here. You know, all the I'm trying to get short things like as far like all the known gods and things that nature were all black. Zeus and Buddha and all of them were black. It gives you a lot of information too. You can find other places. I even went to like the Getty Museum and places. And actually I have the photos, from those things to substantiate that as well. But this gives you a lot of people who you didn't know, were black, even things on the Moorish civilization and various places and people. But just, yeah, like it says, 100 amazing facts about the Negro with complete proof. Um, you know, J.A. Rogers, again, by J.A. Rogers. So, J.A. Rogers, we gave, one of his other books, but yeah, he writes some good books and some good information that I would definitely, look into. So, uh, So that's a good read. That's that good read cover to cover. Good read cover to cover. Okay, that's definitely a good read. Another one is The Destruction of Black Civilization: Great Issues of Race from 4500 BC to 2000 AD by Chancellor Williams. So this is another, good read. So, and even like I said, a lot of these people they share a book even on the back. Even John Henry Clark, president of African Heritage Association, he even dealt with the back of this book. So a lot of them, a lot of it, because not all these people exist at the same time, but a lot of people they learned from some of these. These are some books they read. Okay, I'll take some excerpts from there and I'll add it to my book and give credence to them too. So you can have that as well. So, and these are like I said, great books, and I've had them for so long. It's like, man, I couldn't even tell you where I may have even heard of, some of these. But a lot of it is, and me personally, I do a lot of research. So a lot of these things, never mind, I know. A lot of time what I do, I get the source, like I read these books, and then I go to the back, and I go to the index, and, I actually see the sources, and that's where I look at, you want to know where to continue your studies, look at the sources they used and say, okay, let me read the books the scholars were reading to write the book they wrote. That's a lot of times what's going to help you get more of the information you're looking for. Is all right, let me see. You included these books. Now here's another one that's a great book. Okay, The Ancient Black Hebrews and Arabs by Anu Mbantu and Gert Miller. In this book, you'll see reference in some places, but it lets you know that from Abraham, Ishmael, all of them was black. It lets you even the Arabs were black. They were jet black. They started getting lighter around like the 8th century. So they have stuff like that. It lets you know. It has a lot of picture of Hebrews right up there. let you know that they was black. So, you have a lot of that archaeology and seeing a lot of those things in books and some of these things you be seeing people bringing up in websites, things that nature, and post about it. These are the places where you get it from the source. And I'm someone, I love to get it from the source. Let me get, where did it come from? Always been big for years. Where are your sources? Get the sources. These are the sources, okay? So you can have a lot of those books. Another one, this one isn't too bad. History of the First Council of Nicaea, a World's Christian Convention, 8325, with the life of Constantine. Okay, now there's books that you can read about Constantine that can be better than this one, but hey, it's a start. And those councils, Council of Nicaea, Council of Trent, Council of Laodicea, reading about those various councils, and where we're getting on that, you know. But like I said, the best ones out of that, 13 Tribe for sure. The Invention of the Jewish People by Shlomo Sands, that's another good one. And another one is eluding me now. Oh, well, we'll show it right now on the slide. We'll get it in a minute. So I'll get you the picture when you want to get this one. This one is one. It's not a cover to cover, but it's the World War II. The Nazis, World War II by Robert Edwin Hertzstein. Okay, that's another good one you want to get, where it's one of those that has a couple of jewels in it. It's not great cover to cover. It just has a few jewels in it. So that's another one that you want to get. So it has some good jewels in it. Almost, like I said, I almost forgot about it. It's not in front of me. Gotta find where that book is, 'cause that's a good one. If not, most I'll permit, I'll buy a new one if I can't find it. So, okay. So now going back, another book. This one isn't too bad. Imperial Rome. So this one, has some jewels in it. If you're really trying to, study, understand more of Roman history, Imperial Rome, this one's pretty good. So, yeah, try to shine it good in the light. So that one has some good jewels in it from, if you're interested in Roman history. Another one, that has, a couple of jewels in it. The New Testament World in Pictures by William H. Stevens. Like I said, it's not a totality. It has a little bit of history, a couple of things in it, And the reason why I say it is because I don't want someone to think, oh, this book just all these books, every single thing in it is good. And some of these books cost money. Some books, it might just be, $12, $15. Other books are like 30, 35, others 40, 45. Other books can, get pricey, $50 for a book. Some people are like, man, if I only would have known there had these couple of things in it, I just would have, looked up the PDF. Some books you can look up the PDF version. Some places you can find it for free, or, do a 3-month membership and get some of the books that you need, some of the sources if you're, trying to get it from the source. So now with this next stack. So, man, okay. This next stack is important. It's an important stack, good stuff you want to have. So especially if you're trying to, understand more of the folly days and things of that nature, and understand a lot of the pagan, customs that are kept, with these holidays, is the two Babylons of the PayPal worship proved to be the worship of Nimrod and his wife by Reverend Alexander Hislop. Okay, so this is definitely a great read that you want to have, and something you want to have in your arsenal. Definitely something you want to have in your arsenal. So this is definitely a great book to have. So, and definitely one, if you're a leader, yeah, you should have that book. So definitely have that book if you're, leader, captain, bishop, apostle. Definitely a book you want to have. Now, these books here, this is like if you're really someone who you're trying to, catch up on a lot of your Egyptian studies, more so, and substantiating the Israelites being, in Egypt, our 454 foremothers being in Egypt. This is really, hey, if that's your specialty, that's what you're curious about, these next books is really to help you get started with that. So one is the Hebrew pharaohs of Egypt. The Secret Lineage of the Patriarch Joseph, Ahmed Osman, author of Moses and Akhenaten. So this is one of those books, and probably I think it's probably the least, my least favorite out of all these, you know. So that's probably the least favorite. So it's put this if you're making another subheading or bracket for books you might get order, put this at the bottom, of this category here. The next, let's see. Man, this one's difficult. Okay, so all right, next one, man. All right, now his next one is hard. His next one is I gotta say, man, get him if you can get him, get him. So if you're trying to focus on the Hyksos, okay, and the Hyksos is pretty much shepherd kings that you pretty much had Israelites that were ruling in Egypt, okay, and it pretty much gives you more of the history and understanding those time periods. You have W.M. Flinders Petrie, okay, he's a Egyptologist. He's definitely one you want to keep in mind. Okay, you're gonna see a lot of him. He's like one of your forefathers of Egyptology, modern day Egyptology. Okay, so he's gonna be one you hear about and read a lot. So the Hyksos and Israelite cities. This is a pretty good one. Okay, to have a lot of some jewels and things of that nature. So, um, but again, it's like if you're big on history, this is if you're serious on some history, this is one. Now, if you're not as serious, but you still want to learn, it's like, ooh, give me a choice of this or that. Then you want the Hyksos, a new investigation by John Van Setters. Okay, so this is one that this or that. Which one would you choose? All right, I'll choose this one. For my average person over the other one. Okay, so I'll choose this one. Gives you a lot of jewels and things that nature concerning the Hyksos. So but they're actually both good books. Okay. Now, if you're trying to get more on the Exodus, you're trying to really get information deep on the Exodus. You have the Exodus case. This is the fourth extended edition, The Discoveries of the Historical Exodus by Dr. Leonard Moeller. So this is a good one. So let you know if people did the Exodus happen, it didn't happen, or it wasn't real. Hey, this is a good book to read to understand. Yeah, it's history. It's something that did happen. Like it, love it, or hate it. Now, even better book that if I had to weigh that book or this book, all right, this one. This is Exodus, Myth or History by David Rohl. So author of A Test of Time, The Bible from Myth to History. Now, mind you, David Rohl, thing that makes him famous and popular is that he's actually an agnostic. He doesn't find, proof or belief in a God or higher power, but he dang sure knows and he can prove the Israelites were in Egypt. That's for a fact. They were there. They were there. I don't believe in God, but yeah, I believe, yeah, they were there. I can prove, yeah, that's the case. And by that proof, it's a lot of the archaeological information that you need to, make a lot of that, that information. He worked, even David Mahoney did a documentary, The Patterns of Exodus, the patterns of evidence, excuse me. So Exodus Patterns of Evidence. So you definitely want to buy that DVD, so you can, watch and learn, and a lot of that information and history. So definitely recommend that. And next thing I'm gonna recommend, but yeah, that one's like, man, total cover to cover, good, great stuff, great stuff. And sometimes it does matter the background of these people, because when you find out that these people that don't even believe in God, but yet and still they still substantiate these things, then it's a little, it stands a little differently than let's just say for the folly days, or holidays people call them. Then you have Reverend Alexander Hislop. People say, oh, well, he's a reverend. Of course he might say that, but well, look at many people today. I mean, how many reverends are teaching you that
some of these things you're keeping are pagan, but people can say hey, he's more so for the Bible. So versus someone who on the opposite end is professing these things that man, it's I'm just teaching what's true, you know, and so it makes it that much more impactful. Okay, so now another one I recommend is going to be, and also see and make sure I'm doing. Um, okay, cool. Man, run out of time. Okay. All right, Noah's Ark, Ron Wyatt. Noah's Ark. This is another big one. Okay. Noah's Ark, if you really want to get into Noah's Ark and the history, Ron Wyatt. He did an expedition proving and showing everything, with Noah's Ark and that time period. He's definitely someone you want to look into and a book you want to get. Like that's a must have. I'm gonna go through a few of these too. Uh, Darius the Mede, if you're trying to learn more about the book of Daniel and Darius, King Darius, understanding more about that, this is definitely a good book to read. Darius the Mede. Cover to cover is pretty good. Same with Ron Wyatt, cover to cover. This book, Russian Icons by Father Vladimir Ivanov. Okay, this is something like as a congregation, you guys probably invest into this. Wherever you guys are at as a leader, they save up and invest. This is great to have. Showing and substantiating you on all these pictures, Russian icons, people showing the Jews and Israelites were black. This is it. This is it. It shows the iconoclast too. So shows you, all those black images. I just pretty much open it dang near anywhere. There's some iconoclast images in here too, and they give a history. But all these images here are meant to be black. As we get Russian icons, and they actually show at the end when they were whitewashed and things of that nature. So, trying to make sure see if it's here, but they actually show, those things, the iconoclast happening, but you see all the black images behind them. So, see them all the black images behind them. They know they was black. So, people try to make it seem as if, color doesn't matter. Well, color helps you narrow down and identify race. All right, we're going to run through a few of these, quicker. Oh, trying to get some base history. Margaret Sanger's Eugenic Legacy, The Control of Female Fertility. That's a good read, in general about Margaret Sanger and eugenics, so that's a lot of your Planned Parenthood used against us. So that kind of goes with, some things earlier. Trying to get more into the creation, deep down into creation. Genesis account, like creation and Big Bang stuff. Creation's Tiny Mysteries, okay, by I believe Robert Gentry. Yeah, Robert V. Gentry. Yeah, that's a good book. He has some documentaries and things he's done too. He's a good one. Now I'm trying to get through it. Medical stuff. You're trying to get serious in medical stuff. Vaccine Guide by Dr. Randall Newton-Steiner. Definitely a good one. Lets you know a lot of the truth about these vaccines. He's a doctor. Medical Apartheid. Here's another one. Speeding up because I'm short on time. So Medical Apartheid. This is a good one. So The Dark History of Medical Experimentation on Black Americans from Colonial Time to the Present by Harriet A. Washington. Another one is When Doctors Kill. When Doctors Kill. That's another one. Yeah, this one, Prescription for Nutritional Healing. You're someone you like to look up natural health remedies and things of that nature. This is a good book. You can look up, hey, what's the illness? Hey, here's some things that can help with it. This is a good book for it. Now, these other ones are just going to be like, hey, at your discretion, and they're ones that, hey, if you learn, deal with, but I don't recommend it for everybody because you don't want to get lost in the sauce, okay? It's a Quran, okay? I have a Quran. I've read it, gotten sources from it, things that actually substantiate the Bible, the Book of Mormon, another one. These are for your advanced studies that, hey, these things can, help you get an understanding of some of these belief systems and, where they're coming from. The Wiccan Year. Now, this is another one that helps you show a lot of, where these holiday celebrations come from. But like it says, and even says on the back, celebrate the seasons of the witch the authentic way. Why? Because it tells you how to do all the spells and witchcraft and sorcery. So, but it also gives you a lot of the history of where all this paganism comes from. That's why it's the Wiccan Year, spells, rituals, holiday celebrations. A lot of stuff that our people are doing in ignorance, like the jack-o'-lantern and, you putting up, the tree in your house for crib, all this stuff. But it lets you know, hey, these are the spells and the witchcraft associated with this that people are doing in ignorance. But this lets you know, this is fully how you do it. So, The God Delusion by Richard Dawkins. Other books I have. Good read? No. But, things I have in arsenal. Same with 48 Laws of Power. Just other things that I have. These are just extra stuff. It's not really stuff that I really recommend for you to start with at all. That stuff like for the advance and things that nature, just getting understanding where other doctrines are things. As a leader, you got to understand where certain doctrines come from, the mindsets of certain people. So other ones for writing, rules for writers. You don't have to get this one, but if you're trying to work on your grammar, your writing, this one I like. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Rules for writers. Another one just to help you learn psychology, learn philosophy, especially the critical thinking side. Learn fallacious reasonings and false reasonings and a lot of things that nature. Great thing to read. So I kept this. A lot of these books I had that since 2011 when I was at California State University, Dominguez Hills. So and if there's any other books that we need to get, maybe I didn't forgot about. Oh, apps. You got to get apps. Okay, so these are some apps you got to get. See some apps that I have: Holy Bible, King James Audio. These by like Takata. But yeah, that one you want to get. Verse-wise Bible KJV that has the apocrypha with it. Accordance Bible software, that's a great one. That's one, man. It gives you a lot of these tools and resources, like from Josephus, the Thin and Now Bible Map Atlas. It costs a lot, but it's worth it. It has a lot of information there. Same with that Bible app at the bottom. Bible Quizzer. It's a little different. Yeah, that can give you some good, understand some history, some things within the Bible. But the Bible at the bottom, that app, that one's pretty good too. So these are just some apps that you can, have and download. Like I said, it's only two main ones. I narrowed mine down to. You see, I've had these apps for a while, since 2015, 2016. Actually, I had a different version of the other one because I was mainly using the one at the bottom since 2011. That was my number one go-to app because I've been in this walk, for a long time, or long but short time, but a long time for many, compared to many others. But yeah, these are books that I recommend. So, and now, apps. These are all apps. But yeah, the Accordance Bible software, like, man, that's a great one to get. Get like the KJV, Strong's, and get the Bible Map Atlas and Josephus, so that way you can have a lot of the digital version. You can look up things. Okay. But there's still a lot more I can tell you about resources and things of that nature. But this will give you a very strong start. Apology if it went through kind of fast. You might have to, pause the video at times and things of that nature. But like I said, may have left out a couple of books, but most are willing. You have an idea, you have a great place to start. Like I said, some of these things, just what are you going to specialize in, what are you going to focus on? So some people might focus more on Egypt. Some people might focus more on slavery. Some people might focus more on the creation. Some people might focus more on Roman history or Greek history. It's all going to be up to you and your studies, but I just hope that these tools help guide you in your studies and help you get a good, solid start. Need you be someone who I just want to, get a good basic, just stick with the Bible, a lot of history with that. Or if you're someone that, I want to get like deep. I want to understand, like, man, a lot of what was going on in the time of the Romans and, things of that nature, and some of the prophecies that deal with that, the 12 feathers and the 12 Caesars. And, it's all going to be up to you. But nevertheless, that's a great place. Like I said, we have more information on www.soundfaithministries.org. We do have a book list there, and I do have links. I do have direct links, where you can go. Like I said, Amazon Christian book. But with that, I'm Brother Yatab, and I say shalom. Okay.